Hello collectors and welcome to my review of the SH Figuarts Super Mario. This is the first figure from Tamashii Nations in the world of Mario, and it's the first Mario action figure. So, let's cut to the chase and see whether or not he's worth adding into your collection. Mario looks pretty great, though there are some, say, technical issues I do have with him. Generally though, it looks like Mario and collectors looking for an accurate Mario. They won't be sad at all with this guy. The paint looks pretty great too, and there isn't much slop on mine at all. Luckily though, where there is paint slop, it's just small quality control issues that any collector can really live with. And certain parts, like his buttons and boots, are nice and shiny, and they really look great. Mario's head looks great, but there's a small technical issue that I may mention before. See right here? Right above his ear? You can see where this part was removed from the mold. Not a major issue, but it definitely will bug some. The eyes, the mustache, the mouth, the M on his head, all great. No paint slop at all. The main body, it looks pretty great. No real issues I have with it. The yellow buttons, they look pretty great. No paint slop at all. But the only nitpicking issue that I have is the arms. They have visible seam lines, but I can't help feel that those almost give him a mechanical look. Kind of sort of like a robot. Also, though, there is one issue which I've been seeing on a lot of different Mario figures, is that there's this little mark here on his thumb. It's also present on the other hand. It's a little bit sloppy in my opinion. And the legs. They look good, but again, those seams which were found on the arm are found on the legs. And they're also found on the boots, as you can see there with the light reflecting off of them. But they're somewhat well hidden due to the fact that the boots are a darker color. And here's the underside of his feet. Overall, for about $25, Mario looks pretty great. A slight step above $25, I'd say. Not perfect, but not bad by any means. Flaws, yes, but overall, it's a quality product. Now, Mario is an SH Figuarts, and the line is definitely known for its articulation and attention to detail. Well, Mario definitely is articulated, but I and other collectors do feel as if maybe in the articulation department, Mario isn't exactly the best he can be. To begin with, an exemplar of this would be Mario's head. It's attached to his neck on a ball joint, and naturally you would think, okay, this isn't a big issue. And the neck itself is on a hinge. But when you actually get Mario moving and grooving, you'll notice that, yeah, he can move his head around and bobble it a little bit, but he can't really turn his head left or right, because the head will pop off, and there you can see the inner workings there. And it's easy to pop back on, but really it's because of his jaw that his articulation is blocked, which is a bit disappointing. And also, I have a small fear that if you constantly rub him against the body sculpt, that some paint might either transfer or simply wear out. When it comes to Mario's arms, there's also a noticeable slight lack of articulation. To begin with, his shoulders are attached to the body on a ball joint, and they utilize the typical Figuarts swivel hinge joint that would be used for the shoulder. But as you can clearly see here, that's about as far up as his arm will go. Mostly because there is some sculpting there, which I guess holds true to the character, but Mario should have a little bit more articulation than that. Luckily, the elbows, though, they're pretty solid. You get the full bend you would expect out of Mario. And the hands are on swivel joints. However, you can get a little bit of ball joint functionality out of them because the peg may fit into the hand a little loose. Mario's leg articulation is actually pretty solid, and it's a bit different compared to what I'm used to handling. You have the actual front butt here, that's some like to call it, that acts as a swivel joint that allows Mario's legs to move up and down, back and forth. And then you have a hinge joint here, which allows you to bend Mario's leg at the hip. That hip joint is attached to the thigh on a swivel, so you can get a bunch of cool poses like that. The knees are on your basic hinge, so they move in and out, front and back. And the feet are attached on ball joints. So as you can see, Mario's articulation isn't necessarily bad, but you would think, being in the SH Figuarts line, that maybe he would just have a little bit more engineering put into it. But again, you also have to factor in he's $25. And really, that's not too bad. If you actually know how the joints work, and you fiddle with him a little bit, chances are you're going to be able to get him into most of any pose you would like. Running, jumping, sliding, you name it, you can probably do it with a little bit of effort. Does Mario come with a whole lot? Well, to be honest, not really. But what he does come with, it's pretty sweet and very true to the character. First up, Mario comes with the infamous question mark block. You never know what's inside. Nicely sculpted. You can actually feel the divots and the bumps for the question mark and the little metal bolts on the side. No paint issues, and it feels relatively solid. Nice accessory. Next up is the Super Mushroom. No paint slop, very well sculpted. Honestly, it's a great accessory. And finally, what I was looking forward to the most, the coin. It's nice and shiny. I like it a whole lot. Feels a little bit cheap, but that's okay. It's for display anyway, instead of handling, and you're not going to be moving parts of it around. And to go along with the coin, as you see there's a hole in the bottom, it comes with this little display stand that all you do is you simply plug into the hole, and bada boom, the coin can stand. So as you can see, Mario comes in a nice, nifty little package with a few accessories to make the playtime pretty awesome. However, if you're in need of more accessories, Tamashii Nations has you covered. If you're like me and you need more to go along with your Mario, Tamashii Nations released 2 separate diorama playsets to go along with him, set A to the right and B to the left. They run about $20 a piece, and factoring both of these sets in along with the cost of Mario, that adds up to about the price of one average Figuarts. I highly recommend getting them because they just make Mario better overall. Go ahead and click on the annotation right down there to see my review of the 2 sets. So to wrap up the accessories, yeah, Mario comes with, I would say, just enough for the price tag, and there are options to get more accessories to go along with Mario. However, only gripe that I and other collectors have is that Mario is always smiling and looking happy. There's no calm face, there's no surprised face. It's always the goofy-ass grin. Maybe an alternate head will come down the pipeline, but I really think they should have given him a different expression part. But everything considered, including what's available on the market, Mario comes with just the right stuff. Next up, everyone wants to know how big Mario is. Well, let's take a look. Here he is next to some of the Pokemon figures from Tamashii Nations. Here's Mario alongside some other classic video game characters. Yes, Mega Man fans, I know how much that stings. Here he is next to some of Good Smile Company's Nendoroids, just so this way you have an idea about how big he would be compared to the Luigi, which is coming out relatively soon. And finally, here's Mario alongside some classic old-school Nintendo toys. That's the stuff we grew up with, collectors. So as you can see, Mario is just about the right size he needs to be. He's in scale with some of the other high-end collectible stuff that Tamashii Nations and Max Factory Good Smile Company have put out. So he should pretty much fit into any video game display you have. So, buy Mario now, skip him, or maybe wait for a sale. What should you do? Mario looks good. Surprisingly, the detail and paint applications are great for this guy, but there are some nitpicks which may drive a few crazy. The articulation is a bit disappointing given some of it is restricted or not thought out well enough. For $25 though, it's not so much a complaint as it is a want for more. Say, maybe a $45 Fire Mario sometime in the future with greater range? Huh? The accessories he comes with? Fitting. The diorama playset add-ons are nice touches, but that grin ruins some display options. They really should have included a different face. Overall, Mario's great. For 25 bucks, I can't think of anything to really complain about aside from getting rid of the mold markings I've been seeing nearly everywhere. And yeah, again, the articulation is just a little bit lagging, but I explained that. If you're a fan of Mario or just video games in general and you're thinking about getting him, go ahead and do it. Add him onto your next order. For $25, you can't really beat it.